Dirty Boy is going to be a bit dirty, I promise. So, patience. Dirty Boy. You are now reading Dirty Boy, the manuscript you just found stashed inside a chest freezer in the burnt-out sex dungeon. You will soon wish you were not reading Dirty Boy, that you had left well alone, kept away from the story, let destiny here flourish only for the others, the many down here, and the few who remain on the surface. Chapter 1, The Wyvern Capture. When another blurred and smeary humanoid figure appeared on the front page of the Hardmoor Echo, as with many of the local folk, a sensation more titillation than fear will have shivered through you. He was back to creep the overhung lanes and unpeopled spaces of our dying town, back to enjoy the freedoms of the night and the unlit streets, as you would if you were him. You would have assumed our prowler a he, not a she, an it, or a they. You supposed only one, and not a horde, no conspiracy of leathery intruders. News of this latest sighting hit the local press 2 days after the image had already gone viral online, 3 since the rains died down, and 4 from when Emily Key, a 34-year-old pharmacist, the latterly of this parish, was accosted in the car park behind the Wyvern chemist. According to the account later given to Hardmoor detectives by her lodger, Amira Castry, when she'd arrived home from an after-work drink that Friday night, Amira had found Emily in a distressed state. Emily had, she insisted, been visited by Hardmoor's storied angel of death, the legendary Black Lamia, the one who whispers names. Straight away, Amira told Emily she must have been pranked by some sad sicko in need of help. A danger more to himself than others. After all, there are still men in Hardmoor, restless, rejected men with festered resentments and catastrophized grudges, themselves case studies in how lives can be blighted by addiction and anger, boredom and lust, who if street mutters snitch on a dirty deviant or blatant fiddle about, a flasher-mac type hanging around the kiddies' play area or ladies' washroom, these men of Hardmoor are quite capable of fetching the tar and the feathers, the hammer, the nails and the noose. Some, as you may or may not know, had dreamed of stringing up the Hardmoor gimp for months, over warm flat pints, stumped on 3-legged stools and brooding at saloon bars during dead afternoons. They had squandered their spare time working out a likely secluded site, somewhere to do it, the loneliest tree, a disused pylon or flagpole out in the edgelands of Hardmoor, the little town close to nowhere they still call the Devil's Compass. You may or may not be one of these dreamers yourself. You may or may not yourself have needed to project, keep you on point, keep you out of trouble here. The photo first appeared on the local message board Hardmoor Hub. Emily had taken it as she'd scrambled into her car. In this much shared image, she approaches the rear of her hatchback. He approaches the rear of her hatchback, tall, kink-waisted and lithe. His legs, visible to the lowest shin, are lean and muscular. His spindly arms appear to hang a little lower than you would expect. It had rained for a month. It was raining that evening. In the photo, the tarmac behind him resembles a screen of grey mist. He materialises backlit by sodium lamps mounted on the sidewalk of a brick building we straight away recognise as the chemist's on Hardmoor High Street. Glare streaks his jet black shoulders and the pinched ridge up at his mask's crown. His arms dangle at his sides in a way that suggests a wire pulls him from above. How he cups his palms makes him appear even more mannequin or puppet-like. He may have seemed to you, like he has been described by others, as both controlled and controlling, simultaneously threat and victim. He may or may not have genitals. He may or may not have a mind. Across the electric blue strips, the X's over the mask's eye slits are hidden by a bristling sheen, the photo taken in panicked haste. Only the merest glimpse of the zippered mouth is discernible. You would have needed to have seen the earlier images to know it was there, that gash of a grin. You, though, have seen all the pictures since they started to appear 3 years ago. You may or may not have cut them out, collected them in a file or scrapbook. No doubt you leaned in when you first saw this latest vision of our tentative boy, maybe even ran your fingertip across his otherwise featureless face in the newsprint. It is unclear whether he has paused or it is still taking steps towards them. He is, of course, covered in form-fitting black leather. Unless that is, as Emily thought, this is no suit. This is his skin. She too will have seen images of him before. Everyone here has. Maybe you've seen him out and about yourself. Perhaps you even joined the parties who went out looking for him to clean our streets, reclaim the night. Maybe you caught sight of him when you were out alone on solo reconnaissance, patrol, Hardmore's street-level superhero, our daredevil, our Moon Knight stalking, our Night Stalker. Since he first popped up 3 years ago, many here claim to have seen the Hardmore Gimp in the streets, in the woods, gardens and patios by the lake, in the rushes there, the escarpment, our man in leather, our man in the dark. Emily must have been terrified. You may or may not know that news of the Gimp's return first surfaced on the community message board Hardmore Hub 2 days after his reappearance in the car park of the Wyvern Chemist. Titled Miss Me, the photo was uploaded by a user called Tropic of Leatherhead. Leatherhead is presumed not to be an alias for Emily Key, so how the photo entered the public domain is still a matter of debate. A new GIMP post proves something of a disruptor to the dozens about the persistence of cloudburst and downpour, the localised flooding, the encircling of Hardmore by rising waters, that the old town felt like a fort collapsing into a moat, alive with rapidly evolving cryptosporidium and possibly self-aware E. coli, the number of children sick with fever and vomiting up worms, multiple accounts of subsidence and mudslides, the 3 people who were drowned in mud and floodwater, school runs that resembled the plot of the 1978-2000 AD Judge Dredd story The Cursed Earth, or the 1968 science fiction novel by Roger Zeleny, Damnation Alley, the Just Eat blackout, the repeat complaints about deliver poo, asylum seekers allegedly engaged in flagrant mudlarking, deterioration of the quality of fresh foodstuffs, Greggs and KFC running out of their shit, and the possibility of resulting famine, power outages, burst riverbanks and sewer pipes, fallen trees, the overwhelmed reservoir at Tongue End, the red frog spawn monster some kids say they saw, swarms of eels threading through the 2-foot deep dilated excrement that had inundated unwisely situated cash grab backhander housing developments in former floodplains, in edgelands like Willow Bend and Birch Point, the rafts of interwoven dead eels now sighted floating in various channels, waterways and bloated ponds that prompted several folk of our manor to quote from the book of Genesis, I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature I have made. Against this backdrop, the reappearance of the Gimp to some felt like the return of Hardmore's weird past. Someone from its distinct folklore, its lake ghost, its lonely one. That some things never change, the past is rooted, the past is an evil now returning in stern and drang, in storm and stress. Thunder and lightning, the black demon rises, the black lamia, the insatiable devourer of souls, the one who whispers names. To others, the Gimp was a signal that life would continue. The Gimp is our totem, our good luck. The leather friend foreshadows the end of rains. If a user called Hamble's Eye posted, the more I see of this, the more I think about those stories about the lamia of Lake Mort, and that we are cut off now from the rest of England with the creature from the Black Lagoon on the loose. A user called Jar Jar Abrams would respond with Gimp-phobic. It's just someone being who they really are and loving their Gimp joy. They won't hurt anyone. You obviously don't know anything about Gimps and Gimphood and are clearly a hater. Someone called Arnold Lane's Strange Hobby would then interject with a list of failing and floundering agencies responsible for planning climate infrastructure and locking up and castrating weirdos in Hardmore. And someone hiding behind the moniker Cucumber Wumba would remind the hub that Gimp or no Gimp, there was no work now in Hardmore beyond wiping the arses of the zombie generation of selfish, servile and educationally subnormal flag shaggers and pricks who on their watch allowed wire pullers, libertarian psychopaths and donators to a now extinct political plot against talent and merit to inflict, for short-term profit and planet looting, big burn heat waves, Old Testament-style deluges and storms with pretty girls' names, and those of us now threatened by surging brown water, and that which we thought we had passed, flushed out of sight. Discussion would soon descend into a pub car park fight between those on the side of science and those enthralled to superstition, nostalgia, and myth. I expect you took a position between these two schools when you first encountered in the echo the image of him, all smeary and leathery, or took a stance more commensurate with your stirrings. Thank you very much.
Could you please narrate the audiobook when it comes out?
Okay, thank you. I will definitely try to.
Yeah, you make it easy for yourself, don't you?
I kind of wish I went first. You both read so well.
I'll play the gimp in the film.
That was intense.